Welcome back, Shalligators. Bad news today for Ariana Grande, who announced that she and husband of 2 years, Dalton something, I don't think he has a last name, who cares, are filing for divorce. Now, there's not a ton we know about this. At the time that I'm filming this, we pretty much know the basics. And guess what the basics are? Wait, do you think it's a contentious divorce? No, it's my least favorite word, amicable. They're best friends. And I guarantee you, if they had a child, it'd be like, committed to co-parenting. Okay, we're gonna break down what might actually be going on behind the surface here. As I asked you guys on my Instagram, follow me on Instagram, ShallonXO, if you like historical deep dives and what we can learn from history and seduction techniques. Plus a lot of like reels that are pep talks and little bite-sized bits of advice. I asked you guys, like, what's the topic here? And I mean, your answers were all over the map. So I'm gonna read some, but it's stuff like long distance love, because it seems like her working on Wicked in the UK kind of was either the nail in the coffin or was many other nails. And then maybe there was one small nail, like, we ran out of body wash. You know how sometimes that can be. Dating someone who is out of your league and like not in a good way. When you make the money, do you have the power? Because that certainly is how it works with men who have the money. They have the power, and that's the construct. That's how humanity has worked for thousands of years. We don't really have a huge template for how it works in reverse, though. We're sort of in a new frontier where women are absolutely out earning men, and they're huge celebrities, and they have all this autonomy and agency that historically we've never had. So do we navigate that? How do we do this? You're an alpha female if you're watching this. You understand how difficult this can be. So we're going to break it all down. First, I want to remind you guys, but first we have a dispatch from the Nadine News Network. We talk about this every so often, just like sort of social issues, what's going on around the world, what's going on politically, facts and figures, and it usually comes from my mom, who sits around and reads things all day, and I'm like, if it doesn't have the word Kardashian at the end of it, chances are I'm not clicking on that link. I'm literally just too busy. And sometimes news is just really stressful. Okay, so, but this one isn't. This one is good. I mean, kind of. It's gonna make you feel a little less crazy. Okay, so inflation is like a big thing right now. Things are costing more, but there's actually some good news. We are actually experiencing lower inflation. Inflation is falling, and joblessness claims are at a record low. So it means fewer people are applying for unemployment, which is great. People are employed. We want this. However, childcare costs are going up. It costs an average of $10,000 a year for childcare costs, which honestly to me seems crazy low. I swear to God, that's what I pay for my dog, and he eats things off the ground, you know? I don't have to like keep him, like, I'm not preparing him to get into Princeton. So that to me is like kind of wild. Here's another thing that's wild. This is going to blow your mind, because you're probably, if you're a renter, which I was most of my life, I lived in New York City. You know, I owned homes that it's funny, I was a homeowner. I wasn't a homeowner liver-inner until I moved to Bozeman. So since 2001, rents have gone up faster than incomes. So it's not your imagination that you can't really afford to rent something. Here is what is blowing my mind. Landlords get tax breaks if their units sit empty. So we can actually work against them. It can be less advantageous for them to get a tenant in their rental unit. They might make more money, or at least kind of break even, letting it sit empty. So basically they have no reason to lower the rent rates. They have no reason to like put in a pool or fix something. Because I mean, I'm a landlord. Like, I would rather have my property sit empty than have someone in it that could damage the walls, they could flood the basement. It's wear and tear on the house. It keeps my resale value higher to not have anybody living in it. Like that. Damn it. This is crazy. And the average American worker's tax rate is 22%. I mean, mine's like 35. You know what the corporation's rate is? 4%. To put this in perspective, we fought the Revolutionary War with England over a taxation rate, because it was taxation without representation. That was the whole deal, right? Of 2%. 2%. We were dumping tea into a harbor and shooting redcoats. We're getting taxed 22% on average now, and corporations are paying 4%. All right, so your call to action. When you're voting, because there's a lot of elections happening right now, and just keep your head on a swivel for what candidates have to say about corporate tax rates, because this is a big deal. What do they have to say about inflation? And listen, Biden's Inflation Act actually did like really moved the needle a lot. It like brought prescription rates down. It really has helped a lot with inflation, but I mean, there's still a long way to go. So when you're voting, just kind of keep this in your mind of corporate tax rates. But tell me what you think, because listen, a lot of people, their pushback is we shouldn't be taxing corporations a lot. We want big business. We want capitalism. We want the economy to grow. But then it's hard to turn around and say, but fuck the people who work there. They should be paying a lot in taxes. You know what I mean? It's a really interesting argument. It's what Democrats and Republicans argue about all the time. What do you think? Should corporations pay more? What constitutes a corporation? Like, is that ice cream place in your hometown that opened up 2 new locations? Fuck them. They should pay a ton of taxes. Maybe that would put them out of business. It's something interesting to think about. Tell me in the comments. Okay, let's talk about ARIANA. I love talking about these social issues, don't you? We feel so smart. You know, we're like, we're talking about more than Ariana Grande. We're fixing the world. I love it. Okay, Ari. Her and Dalton McGee, he looks like a McGee. Is there perhaps a McGee someplace in his family? He's not a bad looking guy. And I remember when they got together, people were like, he looks like Pete Davidson, her ex-fiance, with a regular sleep schedule. And he does. He's not like my cup of tea. He looks very just person, like Kirkland's signature person, right? Kirkland's signature man, just man. Yeah. If they 3D printed man, they type that in, that he would come out. Seems like a nice guy. So he's a luxury real estate agent in LA. He's no slouch, and they make a lot of money. But he's not Ariana motherfucking Grande. So I was poking around the internet on Reddit and all these things, because sometimes you take it to the streets and you actually find stuff, because there's not a lot that's coming out about this except for they're amicable. Of course, that's how you know when it's a celebrity reporting it as a source. It's always a beautiful, positive spin. They've remained best friends throughout this. Let me tell you something. I had probably the most amicable divorce in history. I still would not use that term. I have nothing but love and respect for my ex-husband. I've never said a bad word about him. I am obsessed with him. He's wonderful. I wouldn't be like, we're best friends. You guys, it's going so well, this divorce. He threw me a great divorce. It's just not that. You're so emotional. You're so fraught. And here's the thing with divorce. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. By the time you not just see a lawyer, but actually file, actually sign those papers, actually go to arbitration and divide up everything, there have been a lot of bad nights. At least, I would say at least a year's worth. At least a year's worth. Yeah. So no matter how much you love and respect that person, by the time you get there, you are at the end of your tether, you know? And hopefully they do love and respect each other. Maybe they will be friends after the dust is settled. Probably not. But my point is, there's not a lot coming out about this. So you guys on the internet, not you guys, but people on Reddit, were like, it seems like her working on Wicked in London is like the death of this, because he didn't go and visit her once. And Page Six just has a story that he flew out there as a last-ditch attempt to save the marriage. And my first thought reading that headline is, he wasn't out there? Well, no shit, their marriage collapsed. Contrary to what Shakespeare said, absence does not make the heart grow fonder. At all. Like, this is statistical. It doesn't. Shared experiences makes the heart grow fonder. And it's pretty hard to share experiences from 7,000 miles away. If you've ever been in a long distance relationship, no matter how much you guys are visiting each other, it's vacation love. You know, it's no one's doing the dishes. No one's like having those like shitty bad days. You're just like, when they come to visit, it's all sunshine and rainbows and movies and sex and eating out and whatever. And the drudgery of day-to-day life, the things that actually corrode you as a couple, aren't present. And you also don't have hard conversations, because like, dude, he's only here once a month. I'm not going to be like, do you want a baby or not? And have these tough conversations and ruin this weekend. Also, I can't get away from him. He can't get away from me. He's here in this house. We're in this hotel room. We're on this island. Long distance relationships are rough as fuck. And they're almost impossible when there's no light at the end of the tunnel. You know, it's almost impossible. If you guys are in the Shallon Henry, me and Henry, this guy that I dated a few months ago who we met on Bumble, and I never swipe on dudes who are just visiting, just passing through. I look at their location. I'm like, nope, lives elsewhere, not doing it. I don't need to break my own heart. I really just don't need to break my own heart and get involved with someone who doesn't live here. Guess what I did? I broke my heart. Yeah, no, that's what I did. I did exactly that. He was just so hot. He's just so hot. And we really fell for each other. And he lives in Philly. And I was visiting. I was seeing him on the way to Europe. We were talking all day, every day, FaceTimes, 20-minute voice notes. And I mean, he was my best friend. Ugh. But you reach that point, it's like, okay, what are we doing here? Because it wasn't like, well, one of us is going to graduate. One of us is going to get back from deployment. One of us has a job starting in that city. No. We each had full lives where we live. And yeah, I could live anywhere. And I don't want to live in Philly. And I even asked him, I'm like, well, what's your 5-year plan? Is it Philly till you die? Would you move to Dallas, Nashville, Tampa? Like I'm not Bozeman till I die. I mean, right now I kind of am, but like for love, for true love, you know? And he was like, I mean, it's kind of Philly till I die. Maybe Pittsburgh. Ugh. I had to like swallow hard. And it's just tragic. I know that this is not Ariana's situation because hers did have a light at the end of the tunnel, which seems more senseless. I'm sorry. I feel like this is off. I'm sorry. Or maybe, do I have vertigo? I don't know. Okay. I feel even more heartbroken for her because she would have come back. But hold on here. So on one hand, we're going to do points and counterpoints. You know, I love this. Point. Why the fuck wasn't he out there with her? That's his wife. And he has a job that he can put on pause. Real estate agents can just not show any more houses, not take on any more clients. It's not like they were hurting for money. Counterpoint, why should he have to give up his job and do what? Be a house husband in a flat in London for 3 months, 6 months? I don't know, however long it takes. He doesn't know anybody out there. He has nothing to do all day. I mean, if he's anything even remotely close to an alpha male, which I would assume that's who she would go for. And he seems like a stand-up dude. You know, he doesn't seem like there's anything wrong with him. He's a business person. I don't think he would want to just sit there. I wouldn't. And that was kind of the point I reached with Philly and the guy there. It's like, yeah, I mean, I could move there and I could film from wherever. I don't have any friends. I don't have any hobbies. I don't have a community there. I would be like, baby, are you home yet? Are you home yet? What are you doing? I'd be like a Cocker Spaniel. I don't want to do that. My life is for me. I want somebody in it. I want to share with someone, but I exist for me and my dreams, not to just wait while somebody else does their dreams and put my life on hold. So I understand why he wasn't out there. Counterpoint to the counterpoint, bro, yeah, maybe it's 6 fucking months. To save a marriage? That really doesn't seem that bad. But the internet also said that there were videos of him with other girls, rumors that she was hooking up with her Wicked co-star. I don't know who that is. I really try as hard as I can not to pay attention to anything involving Broadway because I hate it. I hate it. I hate Broadway. I hate plays. I hate musicals. I know. I lived in New York. I know. I sound very uncultured. I am. Thank you. I just hate them. It's like, we are going to the grocery store. And it's 8 hours long. I can't do this. It's like Gay Men and Swifties. Like, oh my God. I can't. No, thank you. So Dalton, I don't blame you, my guy. I don't blame you. Oh, man. So here's another topic that came up. Now that we've covered long distance stuff. When you're out of their league, when they want that independent woman, they want another ambitious person in the house, they want another alpha, they want a go-getter. Until the rubber actually hits the road, right? Because these two were kind of a COVID couple. I don't know their whole timeline. I looked it up. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I just have no more bandwidth for absorbing useless facts about celebrities I don't care about. But it seemed like they were kind of a COVID couple, that they were locked down, fell in love. And have we not seen so many COVID couples go belly up? Because when you're in that bubble and there's no social obligations, there's no work obligations, but you're also not hurting for money, it's like you're on vacation. It's that vacation love, right? It's that vacation love. And on one hand, you think maybe that does build a much stronger relationship because, yeah, you're stuck with this person. You got to work shit out. When you're out of body wash and it turns into World War III, you got to figure it out. But maybe during that time, psychologically, people were more likely to get along because everything else in the world was so chaotic and uncertain that you latch on to something that does feel certain, something you can control a bit more, right? It's more of a Bonnie and Clyde, us against the world mentality, maybe. I don't know. I think we're still only just beginning to dip our toe in the effects of COVID. So won't go into it. But I can't help but think that once things started up again, and you thought you knew what it was like dating a pop star. Baby, of course I can handle your career. He was thinking, I can handle the fans. I can handle you going to a recording studio. Not, I can handle you being gone for 6 months. I can handle the internet making assumptions. I can handle all the guys who are hitting you up. Hey, Ariana, I just bought some scratchers. You know who that is. You know who that is. As a strong career woman, as an alpha female, which I know you guys are too, the things they love end up being the things they hate. And the things men say they want in women are not true. They're not true. Not to the degree we assume they are. This guy I hook up with occasionally, Logan. He works in construction. He frames houses. He's not a framer like the Constitution. Frames houses. And he is always banging on about how girls use him for his money. Okay, Logan. He's like, I want an independent woman. I'm like, really? You have verbatim said to me, I'm a little bit too much. Shallon, you burn a little too bright. So you say you want an independent woman. All guys say that until they meet me. And then they realize, I meant, when I said independent, I mean, I don't want her to be facing an eviction notice, but I want her to need me to pay her electric bill. Okay, well, that's not it. That's not an independent woman. That's a dependent woman. That's not a totally dependent woman, but it's a dependent woman. And I am not that. I'm sorry. Guys say they want an attractive girl. Not when it means they're going to have to step up and be more attractive. Yeah, I work out 4 fucking times a week with the trainer. I am on point. I'm firing on all cylinders. Nipples, incredible. Oh, does that mean you maybe need to shave, Jeff? Does that mean you should get your ass to the gym? You're not actually going to wear Walmart cargo jeans on our date. When they realize what an alpha female looks like in terms of what it means for them and how they need to move through the world, wow! Party's over, isn't it? Isn't it? But if you get a girl who's a little bit of a mess, not the eviction notice mess, just baby mess, just petite mess, well then hold on. Now you're in the sweet spot with a man, aren't you? Because you're giving him opportunity to save you and be a provider. They love that shit. You are also giving him the opportunity. And this is very crucial. My mom actually pointed this out when I was crying about this exact thing in Bozeman. Because I feel like, can I be a douche? Let me be a douche. I'm the Ariana Grande of Bozeman. I'm not the Ariana Grande of Bozeman. But like I'm burdened brighter than most girls here. I have a whole different career. I have a big house I live in by myself. And not like I'm setting the fucking world on fire, but to Bozeman, I am definitely an outlier. So I feel for Ariana on this. Like I said, not even doing that great. But it's just that most people are doing pretty shitty. And my mom, she was like, when a guy encounters a girl who's a bit of a mess, he's allowed to be a little bit of a mess. As long as he's not right below her. Let's say the messy scale is a 10, right? 10 is like, why is the only word I can come up with Anna Nicole Smith right now? 10 is Britney Spears, right? Number 1, maybe we should do this opposite. Okay. 10 on the messy scale is Britney, okay? Number 1 is Michelle Obama. 10 on the Britney scale. Let's say he meets a girl who's like a 7 on the messy scale. Pretty messy. As long as he's a 6.9 or below, he's the king of the castle. He's winning. He's on top. He's the man. He's the alpha. He's the leader. He's the daddy. But when you get a girl who's a 1 on the messy scale, shit, man, there's no room for weakness, is there? There's no room for him to break down. And that's what's so frustrating. Like, bro, yes, there is. Yes, there is. Part of me being 1 on the messy scale means I can handle if you need to have a bad day. I want to hear what's going on in your heart. I want to know when you're vulnerable. Let me pull up for you. That's what I do as a woman. I nurture and I love and I bond. Men can't see it that way. All they can see, they see the entire world through one lens, the lens of their own ego. Not even their heart, and God knows not their mind. Their ego. Their ego. What does this say about me? What does this mean about me? It's not about you. It's not fucking about you. My career is not about you. It's about me. I get up and do my career for me every day, not to like stick it to you, Jackson. It's fucking crazy to me that God is so incredibly self-absorbed. It's like, bro, this is killing your chance to be with someone who's actually really cool. Okay. And you look at ARIANA or other celebrity women, and you get it. You get it. And I'm sure she looked at Dalton and was like, wow, he has his life together. He has a career. He seems healthy. You know, he just seems like a healthy, normal person. Not super into the spotlight, but not like weirdly secretive, you know, just normal guy, Kirkland signature. And yet, he might have thought, well, it's great dating a pop star until she's got to go pop and star. Wait a minute. Like, guys like my career until I have to do it. It's like, no, I can't hang out with you tonight. I have to film. Ariana Grande broke up. They're like, wait, what? That's stupid. I'm like, oh, that's stupid to you. Okay. Well, your penis would be stupid to a lot of people I know. So, you want to dance? Let's dance. It's all fun and games until your priorities stay priorities, right? It's all fun and games until the things you like end up being, the things that aren't really negotiable. They're set in granite. But listen, we could say the same thing in reverse. Maybe Ariana's doing the same thing. I love that he has his life together. I love that he has a career. Wait a minute, what do you mean you can't just pick up and come with me to England for 6 months? How fucking dare you? How dare her? How dare her? How dare him? How dare anybody who might be thinking that in that scenario? But counterpoint, is that what marriage is? Is it sacrifices? Is it a movement and a reshuffling of priorities? This is the tricky part for us alpha females. I mean, I have said, you guys know the covenant of the nerd, where I was raised to be a nerd. I was raised to work. I wasn't raised to breed, to partner up, to settle down. I'm doing what I was sent to, okay? I understood the assignment. And so when people look at me, you don't have kids, you're not married? I'm like, no, bitch, I'm a nerd. I'm a nerd. What breed am I? It's like if you looked at a poodle and you're like, that thing can't pull a plow. No, it's a poodle. It's a different breed. It's ridiculous. So, it's difficult for me to partner up. And part of the reason my marriage didn't work is because I was not willing to reshuffle priorities. I will admit that. I thought I was. But I also, if I'm being honest, I thought that reshuffling was much smaller than it was. We can watch Forensic Files instead of the Golden Girls. Spoiler alert, I refuse to watch even Forensic Files. We were only watching the Golden Girls. So, nice job, Shallon. It didn't really occur to me that, no, you have to split up Christmas. You can't see your mom this Christmas. You have to see his family. No, you can't move out to the countryside. He works for the biggest hedge fund in the world. He's got to stay in the city. No, you can't go out with your friends till all hours. Your husband is home alone. He's bored. He didn't get in a relationship. He didn't marry you so that you could just keep going out and acting single. I wasn't quite there. I wasn't willing to reshuffle like that. And listen, something I deal with in therapy, I don't know that I ever will. I hate to say that. Like, that sounds like, ugh, that sounds awful coming out of my mouth. I hate thinking that that's true. But listen, you can't change what you don't acknowledge. And if I'm sitting here acting like, of course I make room for people, do I? Or is it my way or the highway? Guess what? Most guys choose the highway. Most people choose the highway because I go for alpha males. And they're like, okay, well, I have my life too. So if we're not going to find a middle ground, Shallon, I don't know what to tell you. Highway it is. And listen, ARIANA and Dalton Kirkland Signature, they're young. You know, he's only 27. That is young. She's only 30. Oh, God, to be 30 and divorced. Listen, I would rather you be 30 and divorced. I'd rather be 22 and divorced than 22 and miserable, than 25, 29, 30 and unhappily married. Fuck it. Fuck anybody. It just sucks. It just sucks. It sucks at any age. It sucks to be 30 and divorced, 50 and divorced. It sucks. It fucking sucks. But it's infinitely less sucky than staying in something that's not working. But, you know, he's so young. He's still trying to find his footing as a man. And maybe he's doing better than most 27-year-olds. He's not doing better than his wife. And that's difficult for a man. So listen, ARIANA, you look at someone like her and you think, yes, good for her. She chose a guy who's like, got his life together, has a career. But then you think, maybe she should have had like a Kevin Federline who just follows her around everywhere. And she gets to be the alpha and he is undeniably the beta. She is absolutely in charge and he absolutely isn't. It's her world and he's living in it. You know, you think that like on paper, you're like, great, yes, that's an amazing solution. It's not an amazing solution because there is no man more hateful and vicious than that man. Because that's not how a quality man is coded. They don't want to trail around a woman. It is against nature. Sorry, it is. I'm not saying you shouldn't be a strong woman. You just need to find a man stronger than you. Or stronger, you need to find a man whose ego is so strong and so rock solid. Even if you make more money, he's like, yeah, okay, but I'm opening this restaurant and my ego is fulfilled. I feel great. And I'm so glad she's getting the bag. Good for her. She makes me better. It's hard to find. It's absolutely possible. I see couples like that all the time. Barack and Michelle, you know? My friend Eliza Schlesinger, she's a comedian. Her husband is like a little dynamo. He's opening a restaurant, actually, and a cookbook and all this stuff. Like, he's fantastic. They each have their own lanes, you know? Because it's real risky to go for that beta dude. It's real risky. Men act out. And even though you're like, bro, this was the deal. This was the deal. Doesn't matter. The heart doesn't work that way. God knows the ego doesn't either. So how do you navigate it when you're kind of the bigger dog in the yard? Maybe you're more attractive, maybe you're more educated, maybe you live alone, he's still with his parents, it's a money thing, you're in shape, he's like not in a great place, you're sober, he's a bit of a mess. Okay. Okay. Some schools of thought here. Let's debunk them. Number one option, you help him, you make him better. No. No. See, I've been checking the bylaws of the Covenant of the Nerd, and in there pretty prominently is your nerd lane is just for you. Nerds don't swerve and help bring up other nerds. You're not trying to hold anybody down or make them worse, but you got to focus on your own nerd game, okay? The domestic people, the moms, the wives, that's more their vibe. Good for them. Like, amazing. That's not ours. That's not part of our brand as nerds and workers. There's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much energy and bandwidth. Why would I spend it on somebody who isn't me? When, hold on, is he spending it on me? Now that's a whole different ballgame. If there's a mutual ROI, if I am getting what I'm giving, well, okay. But if I'm not, then what is he? A project? A hobby? And what am I? A rehab for broken men? Is that what I am? Am I getting paid for this? Community service hours? A tax break? Am I suddenly paying the corporate tax rate? I don't know. So no thanks on that course of action, mostly because it doesn't work. It actually makes the dynamic worse, infinitely worse. Imagine if you ran a business and your boyfriend was unemployed and you're like, you can come work for me. Oh, okay. Why don't you let him pick out the jar his balls are going to be in? Because that's how he's going to feel. If you're sober and he's a mess, you lording your sobriety over him and nagging him about putting the bottle down, as he's going to interpret it that, you're going to look at it, I'm trying to help him, I'm trying to inspire him. It's going to fill him with shame. He's going to drink more. I know, because I'm in that situation right now. It doesn't work. Same with being fit. Why don't you come to the gym? Oh, so he can look at all the other fit guys who are looking at you and feel fat? If it worked, I would tell you. So I'm going to tell you what does work. You know what does work? Strategic weakness. I know what you're saying. I know what this kicks up in you as an alpha female and a feminist. You're like, no, I've worked my whole life to be so strong, to be made of steel and splendor, plutonium and oat milk. I'm not going to pretend to be weak. Hold on. Something I talk about literally every week in my therapy is my obsession with the word weak. My therapist is like, I've never seen anything like this. You are terrified of looking weak. And let me tell you, weak is actually you just looking feminine. And he's not some small town hick. He was an investment banker in New York before he got his psychology license and all that stuff. Like he's no joke. Oh, he's so dreamy. His wife's a lucky woman. But it's a journey. Covenant of the nerd. There's no room for weakness, right? To reframe weakness as not weakness, as softness, as vulnerability, as that light feminine energy versus the dark feminine, as the light feminine energy. And as most importantly, a foothold for your man to feel like a man, to feel like a man. Give him a chance to help you with something. Guy, I'm seeing her, I don't know what we're doing. Tom, I know. I wouldn't say, I don't play this up, but I allow myself, and this is the thing, even allowing myself to be vulnerable or weak in this one category feels like I'm playing it up, but I'm not. I'm actually just letting it show. I don't know how this fucking house works. I mean, at all. He was asking, he's like, where's your hose? I was like, I don't know. He's like, where's your breaker system? Like, I would assume in the garage. Like, I have a lot of things that go wrong in this house just because it's a house and that's how houses work. And I will call him like, there's a moth. He came over and got a moth out of my house. He fixed my garbage disposal. And it was like nails on a fucking chalkboard for me the first time or two that I had to ask him for help because I'm like, I'm so weak. He loved it. We had the best nights ever after that. And we're kind of shifting our dynamic a little bit. We've been in and out of involvement for like 3 years. It's a nightmare. But I think me being weak, AKA feminine, AKA he gets to be masculine, unequivocally masculine, and do the things men love to do, which is fix, provide, and solve, possess, protect. All of these things. Which is the covenant of the nerd. You're told you got to do that. I'm the only child of a single mom. I was kind of the man of the house. I got to do that. I have to do this. How's it working out, Shallon? Poorly. But when I can shift into that more feminine energy, and again, not pretend like I don't know how to do something, but allow the things I do need help with to be seen, our dynamic is improved. Our dynamic is improved. So I'm continuing to do it almost as an experiment for myself. Like, hey, maybe there's something to what my therapist is saying. It's okay to be weak if it means you're being feminine and you're giving a man the chance to be a man and prove himself and feel good about himself. And then you get to be the girl. You are unequivocally the alpha boss bitch masculine energy when you're at work. Unequivocally. Don't you just want to be the girl sometimes? Oh God, yes. Yes. Lay me on my back and tell me what to do, right? Don't all of us alpha females kind of want that? We want a man's man. We want a man's man. And it has been a challenge for me to reframe this. Now, listen, you might also be saying, okay, well, I'm not weak at anything. I got my fucking life together. Really? Nothing you have a difficult time with? Maybe friendships, there's a hobby you're not trying. There's nothing in your life where you can't allow someone to help you? Really? That doesn't seem true to me, girl. Why are you on this channel then? I think you're coming from that place, and I think you're thinking that and saying that, as I did, because you viewed I need help as failure. You have failed as the nerd. You have failed as the daughter of the immigrants. You have failed. You have to start reframing that. We have to start looking at that not as failure. If nothing else, hey, if you're like, I can't look at that as success. It's just a bridge too far. Okay. Start looking at it as strategy then. This is a strategy I'm executing. That gives your masculine energy, little ego, which I've got in spades, a little bit more of a win. Okay, I'm not failing because I can't get a moth out of my house and I can't figure out how to reset my dishwasher. I am being strategic. I'm strategic. That's me. Old dishwasher Machiavelli over here. Hey man, if that's what gets you through the night, fine. If that enhances your ability to open up and be a little vulnerable and have that strategic weakness, AKA giving man the opportunity to be a man and demonstrate his manhood and create a dynamic where you then get to be more feminine. Relax a little bit. Sure, call it strategy. Knock yourself out, sweetheart. But pay attention to the results. It's probably going to be kind of good. And who knows if this is what happened with Dalton and Ariana. I don't know. But I think when we encounter men who are intimidated by us, we have to amplify things that we can give them a foothold in. And it's funny to me, well, it's not funny, it's sad, that guys are pretty scared of me in Montana. And one of my guy friends, he's great. He's like in his 50s. He's super sweet, Rob. And we talk about dating and who he's dating and stuff. And he's like, you're a tough sell. Like, you are everything people say they want on paper. But then the reality of you, it's like I was saying, they really got to step it up to date you because they know you're not going to take any shit. I take a lot of shit. Yeah. They have to be firing on all cylinders. When they say they're ambitious, no. You have New York City ambition, not Belgrade, Montana ambition. You are like, the bar is real high in every single category. Your house is nice. You fit. Like, that's really fucking tough. And it galls me to hear that. And I know you guys understand this. I know you guys get this. I'm not just trying to toot my own horn. Because you probably heard this too. It's like, dude, I'm a fucking mess. Like, are you kidding? Like, I am and I'm not. There is so much about me the bar is not high. I don't know how my house works. I'm afraid to open my mail because I have too much anxiety. I can't do one Montana hobby. Not one. I can't even hike. I don't know how to go on like a hike by myself. I'll end up dead. I can't do anything. I can't do anything. I genuinely need men. So, what? It's like galling that they can't see that. Like, look at me. I'm exactly as rugged as I appear. And you don't think there's any place for you to help or be a provider or a protector in my life? Huh? Everything in my house is gold. I'm like Ivanka Trump. Ivana Trump. So my therapist, my friend Rob, he's like, but they both say the same thing. I think one is paying the other. Are you showing that? Or are you pushing that off to the side so that they don't see it unless they really go looking for that weakness, for that help place? I'm like, yes, I think I show it. And my comeback is, well, it should be obvious. It should be obvious that I don't know what I'm doing. They're like, why would that be obvious? You know what you're doing in almost every other category. It's called the halo effect. It's a psychological thing. You're good at one thing, people assume you're good at a lot of things, right? We do this with celebrities all the time. You like someone's music, you assume they're a good person and they're a great family person and no, man. Where are you getting that from? Yeah, it's a whole thing. And so my halo effect is a little too good. That halo burns a little too bright. So I need to, and it's not about dialing down what you're good at. It's just about, I know this sounds, dialing up what you're not good at. Not what you're not good at. You're like, guess who's bad at math? Me. Do you have a math test I could do? I'm going to fucking fail it. You know, not that. But dial up opportunities for men to demonstrate, provide, protect, possess. Provide, protect, possess. Don't act like you can't pay your water bill. Thank him for a really nice meal. Oh my gosh, I can't believe you took me here. I love this place. You don't have to add because I can't afford it. You don't have to, don't add that. Just thanking them. Hey, you've provided. I love that. You can thank a man and validate a man's manliness without eroding your femaleness, without eroding your manliness. Mom, I am a rich man. What Cher says. You don't have to erode that to amplify him. And that's what's tough. That's where we kind of lock up because it feels, I mean, the feminist rhetoric is like, oh yeah, no, you're eroding who you are if you amplify him, fuck him. No. A strong woman can do both. Like, hey, I have an amazing career. I'm a bad bitch. I make decisions all day. I have no idea how a garbage disposal works. I don't. And I always say, I'm like, well, baby, I can't know everything. I don't know. And I love that you know about this. And thank you. I hate that I don't know about it, but I'm so lucky I have you that you can do this for me. Thank you. And that's even a little more eroding to me. I don't have to be like, it's so stupid. Just be like, I love that you know this. Thank you. I feel so safe when I'm with you. Just try it. Just try it. Ask yourself, what strategic weakness can I amplify? How can I give a man a place in my life where he can add value and feel like a man? And tell me what you think is going on with ARIANA and Kirkland Signature Dalton. Have you heard things? Yeah, I don't know. All right, I'll see you later, Shalligators.